Hi, it's Leigh Farnell here from Leigh Farnell Best Business. I've just finished a workshop. I'm sitting in a boardroom, and today we're looking at decision making and coming up with the best solution to a problem. So often when people have a problem, they want to jump straight to the answer. I think it's got something to do with the fact that when we were in primary school or secondary school, the math teacher always said, "What's the right answer?" And so we often jump to the most logical answer or what we think is the best answer without really exploring the options. So in this session, I want to briefly talk about how you go about making decisions. Do you think inside the box or do you think outside the box? Now, I was working with a management team just the other day, and this is what happened. The managers explained to me that the manager that they work and spend a lot of time with makes what they call unilateral decisions. Unilateral decisions. What do we mean by unilateral decisions? Right, we're going to do it this way. This is the way it's got to be done. So unilateral decisions are often also what I would call ego-driven decisions. Why is this a good idea? Because I come up with it, mate. Why is this a good idea? Because I'm a genius. Why is this a good idea? Because you're all a bunch of idiots. No, that's the ego doing the talking. Yet what I want to help people do and get aware of is this. Let's get decisions that are what we call data-driven decisions. Data-driven decisions. Where's the data to support that decision? Where are the facts? Where are the stats that support that decision? You know, let's look at the data rather than just go, mate, this is it. Why is it a good idea? Because it's my idea. Ego-driven or data-driven decision. Then what we want to do is we go, besides what is the data, now let's actually look at least 3 different ways to solve that problem. Let's look at least 3 different options to solve the problem, mate. What are 3 different ways we can make that sale? What are 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 different ways we can meet that budget? Not what's my way or what's your way. Let's look at all the ways. Let's look at outside the box. Let's come from outside the box to see how we can solve that problem. Let's look at least 3 different ways to solve the problem. Now, the other important part of a decision is to know if you want someone committed to the decision, you've got to get them involved in the process. You know, the autocrat says, mate, you just tell them. Mate, they're robots, they're idiots, they're seftons, they're stupid, they can't think for themselves. We are the smart ones, they are the dumb ones. Don't involve them, just tell them. Well, if you're not involved, you're not going to be committed. Well, if they're not committed, they can get a job somewhere else. Yeah, sure, mate. It doesn't actually work that way. You actually want to get people involved so they are emotionally engaged, so they feel part of the decision, because if you want them committed to the implementation, then get them involved in the actual creation of the solution. Because it's not just about coming up with the solution, it's also about the implementation of that solution, the other I. Involvement equals commitment, but you also want to get them involved so that they are more likely to be involved in the implementation. Then, the step beyond, once you've come up with the solution, there is the action plan. The action plan, who should do what by when, to make sure this thing is actually going to be implemented and successful. Not only that, then how are we going to follow up to make sure that it's done? And even once it's done, let us now debrief. And as one of my colleagues was saying at the weekend, so often projects are finished, we learn things, but no one ever debriefs on them to say, how do we actually take that knowledge and learn from it for next time round, the project debrief. So once we've come up with what might be best decision, then we come up with action plan, and then we follow up. We're going to meet on a monthly basis or a weekly basis to check, are we on track or not on track? So one thing's coming up with the idea, the other thing is the implementation of the idea. You know, so much of success is the execution of the idea, making it happen, not just coming up and solving it. Telling isn't selling, coming up with the idea is not making it happen. There are steps beyond that. Best decision comes from options and looking outside the box. Then the action plan, who should do what by when. That's where a Gantt chart's handy. And then follow-up, how we're going to make sure we're on track, and then the debrief. Hope that helps you. This is Leigh Farnell signing off. I want to really help you be the best you possibly can be. And at times, if I suggest to you it's your ego that's the problem, I don't mean to be cruel. I just mean to help you be the best you possibly can be. As Henry Ford once said, my best friend is the friend that brings out the best in me. I hope I can do that for you. Leigh Farnell signing off. See you next time. LeighFarnell.com.